Hi guys, this is Tracy Newman, here to bring you a Divine Masculine reading. We'll have a look and see what's going on in the world of the masculine. Oh, let's just do that there. Okay, we'll have a look. What's going on with the masculine energies at the moment? Feeling left out in the cold. And being disturbed by the Queen of Truth. By truthful energies, not moving forward at this stage. That's what's hidden. There is no movement forward. There's kind of like this rebirth happening with the masculine energies. It's kind of like a very contemplative type of energy, a very still point energy, kind of going back into the still point, very still type of energy. So no movement forward, but just gestating on that which is about to change, and but it's going to actually happen slowly sorry, I've got tractors and everything going past my house. I live in a dairy country. Yeah, so it's kind of like a gestational type of feeling, really. It's kind of like a rebirth. And just sitting and waiting, you know, just sitting and allowing the energies to sort of like take hold within. We have in his challenge position integrity. This is the this is the challenge for the masculine energies, to show up in integrity, really truthful, honest way of being within the self. Because, you know, with integrity comes a great deal of acknowledgement of the wisdom within and the truth within. And there is still just a little bit of fear there with the masculine that is actually throwing him off. And that is probably the reason why he is now feeling a little bit left out in the cold, because these energies have kind of spun him into a web of where he cannot, it's like, sort of like in this web where he's actually kind of stuck and cannot get out. But the spider is just sitting and waiting, you know, it's like he's going to have to get out at some point, otherwise the spider will eat him. The spider is a very feminine energy too, so it's kind of like, in a way, the masculine has become kind of, what's the word, humbled by his feminine. Yeah, so that's exactly what's going on at the moment for the masculine energies. Kind of like a smashing down of the ego. It's kind of like when he's stuck and he's like, now he's got to find his way out before that feminine comes in and eats him alive. Knowledge. Yeah. So, and in this, and this is the thing, in this very still point energy, this brewing of ideas and wonderment of what is actually going on within at the moment, the masculine is actually starting to find his inner knowledge that comes from the intuitive center, that comes from within the cells, not from the mind, because the masculine can get very, very trapped in the mind, because the mind is somehow very trapped with the ego. It's part of the egoic structure that is then connected to the 3D matrix world. Whereas when he comes down into his feeling center, into the intuitive center, then he is able to connect to all that is and to ground himself into the earth plane, which is of course his feminine, his ultimate feminine. And that is where he will find the knowledge that he needs to gain, and a lot of the time it will literally be of benefit for the masculine to also ground himself, to also take his shoes off, to, if you're in any way hold the greater amount of masculine energy. And this is not about gender, as I've said. I mean, all of us can flip into a masculine a way of being, and if we're too much out of balance, then we need to be brought back in. And quite often just grounding ourselves on the earth plane will help with all of that, and also help us to access our feeling center, access our intuition, and be able to access the knowledge that comes from within. Oh, we also have the Divine Mother. Oh, okay, yep. So, and this is also, so for a lot of for the masculine energies, there is this shame and guilt that is the predominant factor here for a lot of the masculines. When the fall happened, it was not only the fall of the divine feminine. What it was the divine, and it's falling from grace pretty much, and the subjugation of the feminine occurred. But what the masculine also must go through is the fact that he must suffer the shame and the guilt of actually being used by outer forces to use his egoic nature to subjugate the feminine in all ways. And now he's going through a lot of the shame and guilt. That's what is clearing from the root chakra. A lot of the shame and guilt that he feels within his own structure because of the fact that he has subjugated his own feminine. And as within, so without. So when you subjugate your own feminine and you deny the feminine, become, totally the masculine and in about power and control and ego, you forget the more loving, kind, nurturing part of the self. And then you also then not only subjugate your own feminine, you also subjugate the earth, which is the feminine. You also subjugate the divine feminine in all of its way, shape, and being. And that is what the masculine must come to terms with now. It's sort of like, but what he's being asked to do is to not dwell on that and not to linger too long in those energies of shame and guilt, because it's time to move away from that now. Of course, feel it, understand it, know it, and then it's time now to forgive yourself, let it go, and move on into greater alliance with and also a recognition of the divine feminine within. And then you'll come into some sort of balance. Okay, so I hope that makes some sort of sense to you all. A bit discombobulated and all over the place, but it kind of makes sense if you listen to the words. You'll understand. Okay, all right, I'll see you anon. Bye for now.